Jennifer from my-colorado-kitchen.com. Today we're going to be making some chocolate zucchini cake. We're going to start by prepping our sour milk. So we're going to take a half cup of whole milk. We're going to add about a tablespoon of lemon juice to it, and it's going to curdle that milk. The sour milk makes it nice, light, and fluffy, and then adds moisture to this cake. Then you're just gonna set that aside and let it curdle. Then you're gonna grab a bowl of your stand mixer. You could do this with a hand mixer as well, but I like to do it with my stand mixer. It's my favorite mixer. I will link it in the description below if you're looking for a great mixer. You're going to add 12 tablespoons of softened butter to that bowl. Then we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You won't taste the olive oil in there, but it'll add a lot to this cake. It adds to the richness, it adds to the moisture. It's so great, so don't skip the olive oil, add that in there. Then we're gonna add 1 3/4 cup sugar. Before we really get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I post 2 new recipes using real ingredients for everyday cooking every week. I'm gonna grab my stand mixer here and we're just going to cream this all together so it's nice and light and fluffy. I'm just using the paddle attachment for this. My mixer has a cream function, so I'm just gonna set it to that. And once that is nice and creamed in there together, it's light and fluffy, then we're going to add in 2 eggs and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're gonna put this back on our mixer. We're just gonna mix it up until the eggs and the vanilla are incorporated. Now we're gonna take that sour milk that we made in the beginning. It is nice and curdled. I hope you guys can see that. If not, you'll see it when you make it. But it's nice and curdled. We're going to dump that into our bowl. Then we're gonna mix that in. Now we're just gonna leave those wet ingredients in our mixer and we're going to grab another bowl for our dry ingredients. We're gonna start with our dry ingredients by adding 1/3 cup of cacao powder. I really love this brand and this specific cacao powder. I like it better than cocoa powder. So there is a difference. I highly suggest you find cacao powder. I will link this Thrive Market one in the description below. It's so good. Next, we're gonna add in 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I really like organic, unbleached all-purpose flour. I get mine at Costco. You can find it a lot of different places though. We'll add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. This is another thing I get at Thrive Market, so I'll link that again in the description below. And then lastly for these dry ingredients, it's just a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna take my measure here and we're just gonna stir this all up. You could use a whisk if you wanted as well, but as you've probably heard over and over again, I don't love dishes, so we're just gonna use this teaspoon. I'm gonna grab my mixing bowl with my wet ingredients in it, and I'm gonna add my dry ingredients to those wet ingredients. We're gonna put it back on that mixer and just mix it up until everything's incorporated. You don't wanna overmix this because we want a nice tender cake. And once that's nice and mixed up, we're just gonna set it aside while we prep our zucchini. For the zucchini, we're going to use 2 cups of finely grated zucchini. So I use this hand grater. It's a cheese grater, or honestly, you can grate anything. There's a fine attachment that you can use, and I just grate the zucchini nice and fine. For me, zucchini is a year-round vegetable, but you can certainly just do this cake with like any fresh zucchini you grow in the garden. These zucchini here happen to be half from my garden and half from the store. I will link this grater in the description below. With the zucchini, you want to leave the skin on. There's no reason that you need to peel it because it'll just bake right in. Honestly, you won't even notice that there's any zucchini in this cake. Also, I want all of the juices that come with any zucchini, so please don't drain it, just leave the juices in. It'll add to the moisture of this cake. And once we've got enough for 2 cups worth, I'm just going to add it to my cake batter here. Then we're gonna put this back on the mixer and just mix it in just until it's incorporated. And once that's nice and incorporated, then we need to make sure our oven is preheated to 350 degrees and then prep our pan. To prep our pan, we're just gonna take some softened butter and we're just going to spread that around on our pan. You're just doing this so the cake doesn't stick. Then I'll just throw about a tablespoon or so of flour in there. And then you're just going to kind of move it around so that flour gets all over the pan. Then we're gonna add that cake batter. This zucchini chocolate cake honestly has become one of my all-time favorite cakes, and I love cake. So I highly recommend it all times of the year. It is a great chocolate cake. One final step before we throw this in the oven is we're going to add a half cup of chocolate chips to the top. You could skip this step if you wanted to, but it adds such a nice chocolatey flavor. All right, then we're gonna throw this in the oven at 350 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. And after about 45 minutes, when that cake is done, the toothpick comes out clean, you're ready to pull that out of the oven, and oh my goodness, it smells so good. You're gonna wanna let it cool for just a bit, and then you can frost it with some of my chocolate buttercream frosting, or you could just throw a little powdered sugar on there as well, whatever you would like, but I'll link that chocolate buttercream frosting in the description below. Thank you guys so much for making a chocolate zucchini cake with me. I hope you guys really enjoy this recipe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and then give this video a thumbs up and then hit that bell so you never miss a recipe. For the full printable recipe details, I'll link those in the description below, and they're also on my website at my-colorado-kitchen.com. From my kitchen to yours, happy cooking!